What's up, guys? We'll begin shortly. This is sort of for another test for the streaming, but I do have a project in mind. Great, we have an issue. 1 second, gotta fix this. What's up, everyone? We'll get started soon. There we go. Oh, great. It's not showing your usernames. That's fine. Whatever. What's up, everyone? All right, I'm going to switch over here. Yeah, what's up? Yep, unfortunately, I'm looking at my other stream info over here. I have this monitor right here. This is my Cintiq. It's on a big ass an extension arm that I can move around. I want to be able to see your comments as I'm designing so that I can respond to them. I think what I'll do is, 1 second. Yeah, drinking alone. Yeah, like always. Oh shit, man! I just lost a comment. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get up the old school way over here. 1 second. Yeah, okay. I see your comments now. I want to make sure I get all these. Well, yeah, you know, I wasn't sure if I should call it an infographic, but basically the point that I want to make, damn, you almost can't see me here. The point that I want to make is just trying to visualize the concept of what is called Rxjs subjects. If you've been following along with the recent stuff that I've been doing, the tutorial stuff, then you know, it's kind of a difficult concept to grasp between the 4 different subject types and how they emit data. So I thought it would be a cool idea, you know, if nothing else, just for the channel, to try to create something that looks well. It's a good, solid design fundamentals, but also, most importantly, helps people easily understand what the distinction is between these 4 different types of what are called, really, there are 4 different types of observables / observers. So let's go ahead and get started. So, you know, the way I thought about doing this is I'm going to, let's see here. Yeah, we don't want to switch to that. We want to switch to my desktop. So we'll do cut right here. All right, and so hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. Cool. All right, awesome. All right, so Rxjs, not that. If we go to the main manual and go to overview, and we go to subject right here. This is kind of what, let me increase the size big time. because I am working on a 4K resolution this time, so make sure that's big. All right, and so this is kind of important to go over. So subject, it's going to sound complex, especially if you're not a JavaScript person or a ReactiveX person. As you can see over subject, there's 4 different types of subjects. We have just a regular subject, we have a behavior subject, replay, and then async. I want to try to visualize that. And here's the thing, I did not at all pre-design this. So this is going to be off the cuff, and I hope I don't, just bomb it. I'm going to make my mission. I don't care how late I have to stay up. It's 10:52 p.m. right now, Eastern time. I'm going to make sure that, it's something that's decent. That, oh, I'm sorry. I just switched back to that stupid thing. Let me do this correctly real quick, and we'll start. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so now if I switch back, there we go. Cool. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to get started here in Photoshop. And now you may be wondering, why use Photoshop for something like this? Why not use Adobe Illustrator? But that is because I really want the total freedom. If the case arises where I want to integrate some type of raster-based imagery, which I couldn't do with in Illustrator otherwise. All right, so I need to make sure that I'm remembering to look at your chats. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to get some type of neutral background here to start. I don't know what color I want to start with. I don't even know if I want to go light or dark or whatever. I'm just going to start light, like a desaturated, something like that. Okay, whatever. I may change it completely to something entirely different. Now, when it comes to this subject of observables and Rxjs, switching back here, they have what are called marble diagrams. Where is that at? It's somewhere around here. And I think I'm going to use that same concept, except I'm going to expand on it a little bit more so. If I go to Rxjs marble diagrams, we'll see if we go to Google Images, hopefully something here. Yeah, these are marble diagrams. It helps people try to understand what's going on. So I'm going to use this basic concept, and hopefully I can get something that'll work well. All right, so yes, this will be on the channel later, by the way. Okay, so we're gonna work in the horizontal fashion. Just to get started. And by the way, this is a 4K resolution, so it's quite large. I know I'm not going to go larger than that. So again, that's one reason I don't have to worry about, doing anything that's vector or whatever. So let's go ahead and take this. All right, I'm just going to start off with a line using a rectangle tool. All right, and again, this may vastly change. And it usually does, like if because when I do tutorials and I release them on the channel, they're obviously, if you want it to be a decent quality, you have to do the project beforehand, and I almost always have a written version I'm following along, so there's no screw-ups. This is going to be very different. This is going to be me messing stuff up, changing stuff left and right. It'll probably be tedious. However, it is indicative of the actual process going through this. So okay, so there's actually 46 people watching now. Well, it's not too bad. It's so late. And so one of the first things I want to do is get out the ellipse tool. All right. Okay. For some reason I have it in my mind that I want to take the same background color and just give this a stroke. So I double click on the right side of the layer, and of course it's showing up on the other side, on the other monitor that I can't even see. I have 3 monitors. Let's see here. There we go. And we'll give it a stroke. All right, so we'll do stroke. No, we'll do outside, blend mode normal, and the color will be the color of our line. There we go. You know, again, this may completely change. 17. All right, cool. Oh, here's the pop-out chat. That's good. Okay. All right, I'm just looking at the chats right here. All right, cool. So I'm thinking of having, yeah, just 4 primary dots that somehow illustrate the concept of each, like what a subject is, what a replay subject is, how an async subject differs from a replay, etc. So I'm just going to get out type without thinking of too much stuff right now. So I'm just going to type in subject. Do I want it to be just regular title case or uppercase? Well, screw it. I'll just go with uppercase here. You know, I really like this font. It's called Montserrat or whatever, but I hate the J. Oh well. Let me make sure, by the way, that you guys are looking at the same thing I'm looking at. All right, good. Looks like it. All right, cool. Let me get this back up. There we go. Okay, so again, this looks like crap right now. I really have plans to make this look really nice, so don't worry too much. All right, so so we have subject. Let me just get out the 4 types here real quickly. All right, so subject, behavior subject, replay subject, and a sync subject. Okay. All right, so I'll get out a text area here, and I'll just put in some lorem ipsum stuff for now. We'll keep with the whatever. We'll put that there for now. Let me change the type here. So when it comes to, you know, a headline and a subheadline or a description like this, you know, you have all those several different ways to create what's called a visual hierarchy between the two. Obviously, the most important subject here in design is the subject itself, is this title. Then secondary to that is description. So we already have it at a smaller font size. Well, we can also create more separation through changing the font weight, like regular. All right, there we go. I'll zoom up a little bit. All right. Obviously, the letter line spacing is completely off. Let's just put that to auto for now. All right, so this is just going to be a description in short, you know, like maybe 1 sentence about what the subject is in and of itself. So, all right. By the way, is anyone still there? I just want to make sure my crap's still working here. All right, good. Thank you. All right. So for subject, let's just let's get this up here. I mean, I know what a subject is, but I want to make sure I use something that's very specific and consistent with the official definition. So what is a subject? It's a special type of observable that allows values to be multicasted to many observers. Okay, so observable but can multicast to many observers. All right. So every subject is an observable, and every subject is an observer. Yes, yes, yes. I'm just looking through here, trying to formulate my ideas still. All right. You know, actually a really good source for this, of course, would be my site where I wrote about subjects. What's up, technical white hacker? All right. Nice. Yeah, I think it's going to catch on a lot more. It's still early days for Rxjs. A lot of people simply, you know, they think it's an Angular only thing, which obviously is not true. One second, guys, I'll get back to it. I just want to really make sure I'm creating the right distinction between these four. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so when it comes to just a plain subject, the second observer doesn't receive the first thing that has been sent, but only the values emitted after it was created. All right, the second thing. Okay. All right, and then the behavior subject. No, I personally haven't worked with these four different types of subjects myself. So I'm giving myself a refresher on exactly what the difference is between the four in terms of how the values are emitted, or the data is, or the events as it's technically referred to as. All right, so when it comes to observer 2, right, so observer 2 will emit the last value, whereas up here a regular, and that's for that's for behavior subject, and just a regular subject is the first thing. Yeah, okay, so when one subscribes to a regular subject, it only receives right here. Okay, right, so it'll receive anything after it subscribes, and then the behavior subject will receive the last value, the previous value that had was sent. Wait. I want to make sure I'm not screwing that up. Yeah. So behavior subject will send the observer 2. I'm actually designing for a code type of issue. I'm just trying to create a visual representation of these four different types of subjects through some type of, like, I don't know if you want to call it an infographic. It's probably not really an infographic. There's not enough data really, but just something that represents the differences between these four different things. So we'll get to the design stuff. I need to make sure I have this. I should have did that before I started recording, but so yeah, looking at this. Observer 2 is about to subscribe. Yeah, it gets that. All right, and then replay subject is the third one. And this allows you to specify the number of previously emitted values before it subscribes. So I know that one. And then finally, the async subject simply displays the very last emitted value. All right. Now it's all fresh in my mind again, and I think we can begin to work on creating this representation. So right now, this looks like crap, but don't worry, I really want to make it look snazzy, you know, something you could put on Dribble or Behance or whatever. All right, so Let me take a drink real quick. How many programming languages do you know? I would say I'm definitely less of a programmer than I am a coder, even though I do consider myself a full stack dev guy. But I started off with, I don't want to digress too much, but I started off with Visual Basic actually in the late 90s, and I was making AOL progs, as they called them, where I'd punt people offline. Yeah, that's how I got my start actually. Well, it's kind of silly. And then I really got into PHP heavily and in front end stuff. And then from there, JavaScript, etc. All right, so subject. Let's get to this. So up here, I'm going to have the description. I'm thinking initially this may change. Then down here, I'm going to try to represent it in terms of the data that's being emitted and how these four change over time. So, all right, so let's do this. Subject, I'm just going to say receives, and again, this I may change this. Let me zoom up here. Receives. I don't want, it's not the last emitted value. So we're talking about once a new observer, which could be a subject as well, but once a new observer is subscribed to a regular subject, it will only receive any of the events or the data that's emitted after it subscribes. Receives events after subscribing, maybe. And if there's a better way of demonstrating this, anybody who's watching, just let me know. So, okay. And then I have to think about a way of how to represent this down here, this concept. All right, so for now, let me just take this. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'll probably have to space these out differently to make sure all four fit. Behavior subject. You know what? That's too long. What we'll do is behavior, and then we'll put subject underneath that in a second line. And I know that looks like garbage. 1 second. All right, right there. This one I'll probably move up here. There we go. So we have behavior subject, and this is going to receives the previous emitted event. I guess we'll just say something like that. We'll go to the next one, which is replay subject. And this will be what? Yeah, what is TDD? It sounds familiar, but I'm a newbie, I guess. Replay, it receives the previous emitted events based on what you based on how many you specify, but I'm not going to say that word for word. Test-driven development, yeah. So replay or receives the previous emitted event, and this would receive, I don't know, do I want to put receives X previous events? All right, I want to change this. Receives the last emitted event. I'll put that. This one will be receives the Do I want to put X? Because that might be confusing. Receives X previous events. That's when I'm... Do I have to put it emitted? That's a little bit wordy, you know? I don't have to do that. Well, I'll leave it like that for now. I don't want to sit here screwing around too much. Let's duplicate that. And then finally we have async subject. All right, so we're getting our type. It's not like it's absolutely terrible, but it's gonna be much more shortly. So let's go ahead and yeah, that's locked already. I'm gonna take these 4 and just move them more towards the center. There we go. And then async simply receives. See, I don't want this getting confused with behavior subject. All right, so receives the last event. I will admit I am more of a designer. So async subject receives X previous events. So behavior subject really receives the last event plus future events. Thanks, Sharma. I don't want this to get too wordy. Too wordy. So I know I'm going to change this. I'm just going to put this for now. I'll just put this in quotes. That's so stupid. I'm just going to put it anyway, just for now. I want to continue on. Receives X previous. I'll just put that. All right. Okay, so now I want to do the thing that will down here that will represent what this column means, like a subject and then behavior subject. How can we represent this in a visual manner? All right, so that's going to be the challenge. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, so we'll see. I'm going to move this out of the way. I want to make sure. Where's my stuff at? Yeah, get out of there. There we go. Make sure everything's still working here. Yep, there I am. Cool. All right. You know, this Cintiq is pretty awesome. I hardly ever use it though. It's like a drawing tablet. 34 people still watching. Cool. All right. I think I know never to do one this late again. Well, I kind of expected it. When I did one yesterday, I had 140 people watching. But it's a Saturday night, you know, whatever. People are probably sleeping at this point. All right, so it receives events after subscribing. All right, so how do I want to, you know, this right here, this little circle could potentially represent the point at which there's an observer that has subscribed. So maybe I can do this. I just came up with an idea. All right, so I'll take this down just a notch. And what we'll do is I'm going to copy this ellipse. I'm going to fill it in. For now, we'll just say the same color, whatever. It may change. And let's replicate this. Yeah, something like that. No, maybe one more time. All right. So these all represent, you know, the different events or the data that's being emitted from a subject, and this is the observer that's receiving them. So this is the point at which this filled in, or this not filled in, the stroke circle, that's the point at which they have subscribed. This is the data. That's what they see. They don't receive anything before it, because that's how a regular subject works. Okay, so now I'll take those and I'll replicate all 4 of them, move them over here. Yeah, I gotta watch myself with the beer, man. I used to drink a ton, especially when my first business started to fail. Oh God, that was so stressful. Oh, that was horrible. All right, so I'll elaborate that, but let me describe what's happening here. So the idea here is a behavior subject. This is represented by these dots right here. So it receives just the last event, and this is how this is represented. I think that's a pretty solid idea. Yeah, so, but here's the thing. I'm going to need to restructure things just a bit to fit these all on. And I'm probably going to have to scale them down just a bit. All right, so let me do that real quick. Something like that. All right, so auto select layer, take these 4, get those centered up. All right, so take these. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to take these, duplicate the layers. All right, and so replay subject receives the X previous events and future events. So what that means is we can take this, duplicate it. I really want to do 3 here though, and this isn't even equal. There we go. And by the way, I'll take these 3 down here. We have more space below, so I'll duplicate those. Oh fuck, are you serious? Take these, and there we go. Right click, duplicate. There we go. And I may even do it one more time. So duplicate layer. All right, cool. I'll probably, maybe I will fade these off. I'm not sure. We'll see, because this looks stupid when they're growing so close. There's not a lot of white space down here, and you don't want that, especially when you have a lot of white space up here. That'll throw off the design. What I'll do also to make more space, take these, move them up, because I really want to get 3. Okay. All right. We're kind of getting there. Here we go. A sync subject receives only the very last emitted event. So how would I even... And I probably will have a key of sorts, like this right here. The stroked simply represents the point at which they've subscribed, and the filled in are the actual events. I'm thinking out loud. So maybe I'll just do this. I'll take this. Let me know if I'm not making, or if I could demonstrate this in a better manner, by the way. move these all over how they need to be. What's up? How would you pronounce your name? Gavin? Kavin? I don't know. All right, so let's see here. By the way, I'm going to be drastically changing this up. I want to make it a little bit more interesting looking. I'm going to delete these. Oops. Don't want to do that. Yeah, maybe that is a good point. So, make a video on making a degree in graphic design or visual effects. All right. Well, what do you mean making a degree? Or you mean getting a degree? Are you in like a college of sorts, or? Maybe maybe I can get rid of, you know what I'll do? That's a good point. So I don't think I'm going to remove it. I think we still needed to have it there. Instead, we can give it less importance by changing the size. So, you know, let's try like 36 or something. Nah, maybe a little bit bigger than that. I think that might be a little bit better. So, yeah, to what? Are you currently in college? I'm sorry, I probably asked you a couple questions there. I'm just going to redo this. This is replay. Yeah, this is probably not what you would call an infographic. All right, so yeah, I think this would probably work well right here. Well, I have counterculture views when it comes to college. I personally did not go. And that's a lot of that has to do with the fact that I was kind of a self-teacher even when I was probably in 7th grade. In 6th or 7th grade, I really started hardcore and like just trying to learn. I played a lot of games, of course, and but I was getting into coding and stuff as well, and I even had job offers. So I was like, I'm not going to go to college. Now, if you're not a self-teacher, then even still, I'm not sure if I would recommend going to college and paying a ton of money, because a lot of times the content is out of date. Let me minimize this over here. I'm a little bit reluctant on switching. I want to make sure that my streaming software, I'm new to this, is working correctly. 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, this is so unprofessional of me. Moving this dumbass monitor around. All right, there we go. That's kind of better. All right, and so really, if you can teach yourself and you can also and you can also, there we go, build a portfolio through real work. And when I say real work, I mean these days most employers, they've wised up. Before, they really wanted you to have a degree. Now fortunately they did wise up. They understand it's all about the work, it's about your experience, and if you could do it that way, and you can there's a lot of ways to get work too. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be paid when you're first starting out, and I don't even think they would care. If you're an employer and you're in their position, you only want a person who's going to be able to complete the job. Having a degree does not mean that. Now, I'm not sure where you're from. I know in some cultures, you know, the parents are really going to push the kids to go into college, and if they're paying for it, fine, go ahead. But I wouldn't only rely on that degree. No way. I would, you know, because depending where you're going, a lot of the content they give you is just it's garbage. So I would, regardless whether or not you go to a school, and this is for any field with computers. This could be internet marketing. This could be anything. Make sure you build up real world experience on your own with your own projects. That's my advice. Okay. Oh, we're gonna keep going here. All right, here we go. So, right. No, I understand. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not happy with this, obviously. Yeah, I have the general idea, but now I really want to make it look better. And so what I'll do is, yeah, and by another piece of advice, another piece of advice is, you know, go to the sites like Behance and Dribbble, and you look on the top trending designs. If you can't produce that, or if you're looking a lot of that stuff and saying, wow, I can't produce that, copy it. And I don't mean it copied just to use for your own portfolio. Copy it so that you can get muscle memory. You will slowly get that muscle memory to the point at which when you go to do your own unique original work, it's subconscious. It will help you, in a sense, it will help you simply going through the motions of what it takes to recreate some of these pieces that are, you know, everybody thinks are awesome. It will help you when you're going to create your own projects. Of course, that doesn't mean you're not going to have your own style or you're just kind of blatantly copying somebody, but that's one thing that does help people who are new and are self-directed and self-guiding in terms of trying to learn. All right, so what I want to do here is give this some color. So I'm going to change the background up a bit. And again, I'm not sure if I really don't want to stick with these descriptions. They're kind of stupid, but I'm going to keep moving on. So I'm going to get that gradient tool, and I want to make sure. One second. The hell is my mouse? Oh, there we go. I have 3 monitors. Sometimes the mouse gets lost, especially when I can't see the second monitor. Let me see here. All right, I was using an interval, right? So it's set interval at, oh wait, that was the wrong one. All right. I'm not sure if it would make sense to put it above. I wish I could test, because if it knew, you know, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I addressed that. Was it Caven? at the beginning, probably before I wanted to do this in Photoshop just in case I wanted to introduce some type of raster-based effects. And this is already 4K. I'm not going to want to go higher than that. I have so much experience in Photoshop that I know I can, everything I'm using here, by the way, is shape layers, which technically isn't, what do you call it? It's not vector, but it still can be scaled up to any size imaginable and not lose quality. But yeah, sometimes I may want to do something that has like raster-based textures or something, and so that's why I did it. I don't know. I think I want to put it in the future, simply because it doesn't save anything from the past. Does that make sense? All right. All right. So going back to this background, I want to do a real subtle gradient. I want to see how this looks. Something that's kind of has color. So let me, for a while I was kind of doing this thing where we have like something like light. Let me just do foreground to transparent. Yeah, it's the same damn thing. Create a new layer. Oh yeah, Joomla is quite old. I never actually used it or got into it. Just because I never really had the chance, or I just never had a need to use it. You know what's crazy? I was at a indoor water park that's 2 hours away with my family, my two daughters. And this is 2 years ago, and my wife. And I saw a guy who had a Joomla t-shirt on. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, yeah, I'm. He was like, at that time, one of the biggest outside third-party developers for Joomla. He made like plugins and stuff and had a very successful company. How crazy is that? All right. Now that I kind of like this background here. It goes to this little girly pink color to this blue. It's a nice transition. But now it's throwing these things off because these are filled in with a solid color of blue. So these one over, I don't like that. So we need this to be transparent. However, I don't want to rasterize it. I want to try to keep as much as I can without rasterizing. So what I can do is, I haven't used this add anchor point tool in quite a while. Actually, what I can do is this. I know what to do. It'll be a little bit tedious, but it'll be worth it. I'm going to take this. I'm not sure about the code snippet thing. We'll see. I could always try it. Yeah, I'm just doing this so I can get rid of the fill for those circles or the ellipses. All right, there we go. So now I can take, hopefully I can do this all in one bout. And make this so that there's no fill. There we go. So now there's no fill on these. And I just jack that up. Let me take that. This doesn't let me select it. What the hell? Where is it at? Right there. There we go. All right. I'm still not happy with this. I want it to pop out a little bit more. So let's keep on thinking here. Well, this is obviously intended for developers. So I'll look at the official documentation to see if there's something very small maybe I could include. So we'll see. All right, so what do I want to do now? I think if I wrap all of this stuff in a group and apply a very soft shadow, it could bring some depth to this. I may not keep it, but we'll see. I'll go ahead and try. Oh, I moved this gradient. There we go. Let's lock that layer. When it comes to shadows, I usually stay away from them. I always advise new designers don't touch drop shadows and stuff like that because they always get it wrong. But they can be used correctly. So let's try it. So we put it in a group. And then we do a drop shadow. God, yeah, see, a lot of new designers, they would just keep that and think it's good. No, don't do that. You want it to be extremely, extremely subtle, almost to the point at which you can't even see it, if you're going to do it, which I still may not. I think the size is too big. It's a little bit too blurry. I'll leave this for now, and I'll see if I want to keep it. Because I'm going to go downstairs in a second to get this girly-ass beards my wife bought. I have my own. And usually taking a step away will help you understand with fresh eyes to be able to see, oh, okay, that was stupid. Why did I do that? I'll leave this here for now. Why not? I have to remember, people keep on joining in the middle of the stream. Yeah, I chose Photoshop just in case if I wanted to integrate raster effects that I could. Plus, I knew this is already 4K resolution. Plus, right now, everything to date right here these are either type layers or shape layers, so it could still be increased to any size imaginable without losing quality or anything like that. This looks boring to me, though. I don't want to just end it here. I had higher aspirations than this. Let's see. I think I need to integrate a key so that people know what these dots actually are. I think most people would understand who are developers, though, but I still kind of want to do that. So what I'll do is take one of these and one of these, right click and duplicate them, make them smaller. Oh, I can tell. I gotta go to Window. Yeah, I'm so used to Illustrator because I know when you want to scale down effects with, or not effects, but paths that have a stroke on them and it doesn't change the stroke, there's a setting, there's a checkbox under the window transform. Yeah, that's why I'm about to do a key right now, or a legend or whatever. Where the hell is that? See, when you hit Control, properties, path properties. Yeah, because if it's not going to scale down the Yeah, I wanted to scale down the strokes as well when I change the size, because if I increase them like this, see how it stays the same. I know how to do an Illustrator. I completely forget how the hell and where that option is at in Photoshop. Son of a bitch. I think it would be under properties, but there's no transform tool or panel like there was in Illustrator. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go to Google. All right, Photoshop, maintain, scale, stroke, width, scale. Why is it showing me After Effects? I mean, I know how I could do it if I converted it to, if I rastered it. I don't want to do that though. But then again, does it really matter? Because I know I'm not going to use this. All right, so this is 2014. Yeah, this is showing me After Effects. What the fuck is that? Oh well, what I'll do is right click, duplicate them, group them up. One second here. There, that panel showed up off the side of my screen. Will it still do that? Yeah, it will. You fucking bastard. All right, well, here I go. The evil rasterized layers. Oh, okay. You have to rasterize the stroke, the effects too. I forgot about that. There we go. Well, yeah, Giovanni. Oh, by the way, Hobo, thanks a lot. Yeah, Giovanni, that's the reason you do mock-ups. And this is a common question too. The reason you do them is because if you go straight into HTML and CSS without having an idea, I guarantee you almost 100% of the time, the end result that you come up with would be less appealing and less functional than if you were to spend time coming up with an actual prototype of sorts. It doesn't have to be 100%, you know, detailed, pixel perfect, but you should definitely do some type of mock-up of sorts. So this is subscription created. I'm not going to leave a damn drop shadow on this, that's for sure. Now you have to get it outside of this group. The dots, the ones that are hollow, are representing when the subscription is created onto either the async, replay behavior, or subject. So that's like when a new observer subscribes. The filled in ones represent data that is being emitted from the subject. Hopefully that understands. WIN or WIN, yeah, it's, what is it? It's 11:47 p.m. I have this really bright light in front of me. and it's a studio light. So it's kind of messing with my head too. It's like, Jesus. But if you look at there, I'm not sure if you can see the window over there, but it's pitch black outside. If you only need a mock-up, then why the amount of detail? Well, a mock-up in and of itself could either be, just like a wireframe. At least that's how I perceive it, or something that's pixel perfect. I personally prefer to go to be as specific as possible. That way it helps you have a solid idea of, especially if you're working with a developer or a guy who does HTML and CSS, but he's not an actual UI designer. Sometimes you have that arrangement. So this is going to be event/data. I think that would make sense. All right. Let's try this, an additional thing. By the way, I should save this. It would be my luck that Photoshop crashes. Australia, I am so jealous. I live in Ohio, and it sucks. I really want out of here. New folder. Yeah, these are my folders for my YouTube. I guess you could call them episodes. This will just be live infographic. Yeah, I moved to LA. That place is so expensive, insanely expensive. Maybe some type of vertical line here. Make the line thickness. Damn, it's almost 12. Shit. Let's see. Actually, let me, I'm gonna delete that. Do I like that? I don't know. Is this necessary? Yeah, it is time for bed. Maybe I'll bring him to the top. I think people understand that these align. Yeah, where I live I'm in Ohio, northeastern Ohio. We're near what are called the Great Lakes, and then they're basically the largest lakes in the world, I believe, or something like that. And so there's constant. We're an hour south of it. There's constant overcast, almost. It seems like, especially during 9 months of the year, there's a lot of overcast, and so it looks like doomsday skies all the time. And in terms of temperature, because we're northern North America, it's pretty cold, with exception to the summer months. So for a lot of the times, it's cold, it's shitty to be outside, and it's very gloomy. So we have a high suicide rate here. It's like, God, it sucks. But you know, we laid down roots, as they say. My daughters are 8 and 5. We homeschool them, and their life is like dance. Their dance studio, and they're like, "Oh, we can't leave dance." Like, oh Christ, come on. All right, so I like this so far. I'm going to experiment. A lot of times when you're experimenting with this type of stuff, you don't necessarily keep what you're doing, and especially we're getting to the point at which if you try to add two more, it may take away. But I'm going to experiment anyhow. So I'm just going to take a selection right here, and again, this could be done with a shape layer so that it's rastered. But I'm not really, I mean, it's not rastered, but I'm not really too concerned. I'm just going to try something. Yeah, nice weather to the code. This is going to look stupid, I think. Or we can come from the other direction. So I'm just undoing this, and I want to try to get this direction right. That's going to look real stupid. Hold on. Yeah, because it's like right up against that text. Let me move this over slightly right here. Come at it from this direction. No, that's just plain stupid. I'm not doing that. I could possibly create some more separation between these elements, these descriptions, and maybe taking the opacity down just a bit, like that. I'm still trying to decide if I want to keep those drop shadows here. Let me toggle them back on and off. Maybe we'll take the opacity down even more, like that. It does seem plain, but it is effective. It might be. Yeah, because if it's the only thing that's really popping out. I'm almost wondering if it makes sense for the titles to be a different color. That way it can give a little bit more. Everything's pretty monochrome here. So I've selected all four. Well, you know what? Rxjs does have an official color scheme. And it's this pink-purple color. Wondering if, one second here. I'm going to hit OK for that for now. If I can drag this on there. Hello. Yeah, it's Hashim, right? Or it's not Hashem, right? Let's see. I'll just grab the color like that. There we go. There we go. We should probably get the logo in there too. I have courses here. These are all my, where's my free courses? There we go. Rxjs beginners. I have the logo somewhere. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just get it from the internet. I'm going to be done shortly, by the way, guys. Is this transparent? One second here. Shit. That's transparent. There we go. All right, where would it make sense to stick this? Maybe right there. Pretty good. How are you? I'm tired. It's 11:58. I usually go to sleep around this time. I'm trying to think of a good place to put this. Yeah, maybe right there. Kind of fits nice in that section. Well, you're right about the one thing. The live viewing audience is low. But this really isn't meant to be a tutorial. If it were a tutorial and something I really wanted, people to see, I would upload it like a normal video, which is how I normally do it. Everything's very scripted in a sense. This, I'm just experimenting with a different format, seeing if it's something I want to continue to do. So, and it probably will be. Now I don't like how these are kind of, the opacity is low, so I'm going to put those back up. And I'm wondering if I want to take down the opacity of these little rectangles. Yeah, something like that. Now it feels like all this stuff should be moved over, with exception to this line. Let's see. Yeah, this line. Oh wait, those should be moved over too. That way we give the logo a little bit more space. And I'll extend this out. I'm going to submit this to like maybe a Reddit or something, or for Rx or whatever. Maybe they'll retweet it, whatever. All right, you know what, guys? I think I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, it looks decent. This part is good. The descriptions, it's a little bit too wordy. Like they all say receives, receives, receives. I'm going to rethink this. I'm not going to do that now, though. Yeah, I don't really have any specific tutorials that show you how to go from mockup to HTML or CSS, especially something that's very unique like this. This wasn't really intended to be HTML or CSS. It would be really cool if it was interactive, though. That would be awesome. But that wasn't my intention going into this. This is more like just to be kind of like a poster, or just, an informational graphic. Yeah, I kind of like it. Yeah, this is probably confusing if you're not a coder or never touched Rxjs. This is just an infographic for a specific topic that can be confusing for people who are dealing with reactive X programming. These are just 4 different concepts really when it comes to observables. And so I was just kind of showing, you know, the whole purpose was to show you how to create a visual representation of something that's somewhat of a complex concept. All right, I like that. Yeah. If I can remember, I will post the final result here, maybe even with the PSD file, and then YouTube is going to automatically make this video available sometime in the future, in a few hours or something. So yeah, all right, cool. Hopefully you guys found value in that, and I am going to head out now. I'm starting to get tired. Damn. All right, let me check something though real quickly before I head off. Still 34 people watching, hour 16 minutes. All right, guys, I'm going to head out now, and I'll see you later. All right, goodbye. Now, if I could just figure out how to close the damn thing.